guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you have landed on a Ginger Chick Rehab, where I love to take pre-loved secondhand finds and share the process with you, my vision for making these items over to get them to be loved again. So in today's video, here in Michigan, we are in the season. It's now past Memorial Day. We're decorating our outside areas. We're sprucing things up. We're planting. And do you have any of those outside items that might be sun faded, weathered, or maybe even broken? So in today's video, I'm going to share 3 items with you that I gave some love to instead of just throwing them out because they were sun faded or broken or a little bit worse for wear. Just sharing with you my vision for making them over so they can get some more use out of them for many years to come. Do some outdoor decor. So first up is going to be this frog. Super cute, but he's lost his eyeballs, so that just makes him a little weird. He's dirty, but before I can wash him, he's got a hole. So we need to fix that issue, because if I go to wash him, all the water is going to go inside. And then I'm going to fill the other little hole in the bottom, because there again, it traps water in the inside. So, yeah. So he's been just sitting on the shelf, just waiting to be done. And we're in that gardening season, decorating our outdoor areas. Here in Michigan anyway, so let's get to him. So my fix for patching up holes like this, especially something that's going to be in the outdoors, is Bondo. And I know this is Bondo wood filler, but it still has the same concept. We just need to fill in that hole. Now I could have done spray foam and filled it all the way up, but I feel like I can do a couple layers of Bondo. The hole's not terribly big, and there is some breakage along like the leg line that I need to fill in anyway. Not used Bondo before. It has a putty, and then it has that little tube of hardener. You mix it thoroughly together, and as soon as you get it mixed up, you only have a few minutes of play time, meaning like 2 to 5 minutes, because in 10 minutes it's completely set up. So I'll just go gingerly, and this is the way that it would do it. Like I said, you could use spray foam that it would expand, and you wait for it to cure, and then you can cut it off, and you'd see every hole that there was in there. But so there's 2 different ways of doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and end up mixing up 2 batches, and so I'll just fill along the side areas first, get all along the legs wherever I see that it might have a hole. And then just wait for that to cure, and then mix up another batch, and then it should be small enough hole that I can get it all to fill in. Now, once Bondo cures, it is hard as a rock. And the nice thing about this frog is it has so much texture, I'm not going to really have to worry too much about sanding it smooth. So this is my second coat. I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm just adding some more texture, just trying to blend it in. And you can see where I did along the leg lines or looked anywhere else that it might have been cracked. Really, I don't have a ton of playtime. Within like 3 minutes, all it is just a little bit like mushy. Like it's at its cure time, and it's going to be hard in a second. But that's why I like using it. I'm going to use a little bit of sandpaper just to knock down any high spots. Now I'm not sanding it smooth. I'm just getting any of those high spots. Like when I touched it, it just kind of stuck up in the air a little bit. That I have all the holes filled on this frog, I feel like I can take him into my kitchen sink and start washing him off. And so if it's not one of those things that I really want to try my power washer on, because I'd probably just blow it across the yard. Or, I want to scrub a little bit more because there's all those little crevices in the texture. So I'm just doing some warm water, Dawn dish soap, and a scrub brush. Now that my froggy is finally dry, I set him in front of a fan. I wanted to make sure all those little bits and pieces, the little corners and crevices were good and dry. And I'm going to be doing a classic green color on this froggy. Well, this is the first layer and first color of green. And I'm choosing to use Fusion's paint because it has primer, paint, and top coat all in one. And I feel like it should be pretty safe for the outdoors. I like the depth of this fern color. It really just is going to be a nice base coat. Just pops of green. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I think of a frog, that's the color I think of. It is that it's not easy being green. Okay, so like I said, this is a nice base color. So he has so much texture. I want to add some more texture. So when I move on to the Bayberry color by Fusion, I'm not necessarily looking for coverage. I'm just looking for that texture that a frog, toad, whichever, they're not always the exact same color all over. So as you can see, I'm just taking a big old brush and I'm just dotting paint on, which just looks like I'm dotting paint on, but this is the first step to doing that. The paint is still wet. I'm taking a paper towel and I'm dabbing some of that paint off. I want you to be able to see the underlying dark fern color. But to help it along, I'm going to go ahead and take a mister bottle because I really want to see more of that underneath green color. I want to see some more texture. Once my froggy is dry, I'm going to do one more layer of extra protection and do a couple coats or weather defense to protect him from the elements of putting him outside. He's not done quite yet. He needs some eyeballs. Those holes just look kind of weird. I just happen to have in our stash of marbles 2 shooting marbles that are brown amber color. They are exact fit that fit into those sockets. I cannot believe my God wink moment of having those in my stash. So I'm just going to be using some CA glue, a lot of CA glue, not so much that it like scrunches up, but I want to make sure that there is a good bond there. There was some type of a hot glue or something that was in there that I couldn't get out when I was washing it. So that'll be a good bumper for lifting up the glue that I'm using on there. But look, it's a perfect fit. I cannot believe it. mushroom. Large, this is large, but it's just gray. It won't pop out in a garden, so it is not broken. It has a big hole in the bottom, just the way that it's made. So we're going to clean this up and get this painted today. So this is so lightweight. If I tried to power wash it, I would just blow it all over the yard. So in our big old sink it goes and it gets scrubbed. Told you. Hello, it's hello. Same thing, set it in front of a fan, let it completely dry, making sure that all the crevices are dry. And I'm going to start out with Fusion's Picket Fence to paint the stem of the mushroom. So you can see there's a lot of detail in this piece, which is just a hard plastic, almost like a resin. And then where the mushroom top is, there's that little bit of rolled edge. I'm going to try to not get onto the rolled edge, but it'll be okay because I'm painting white on my stem first. You know, you try to go gingerly, but you want to use a bigger brush because it's larger to get that surface area. So it took me 3 coats of paint to get the white that I was looking for. And yes, I am doing Upper Canada for the top of this mushroom. As you see, when I first started off painting the stem of the mushroom, I touched a couple of the little rolled over parts, but got better as I went along. But no worries, it's just paint, so I can paint right over it. But I thought this Upper Canada would be a fun color. Just, you know, when I first bought this piece, I probably thought I was going to do red, but I'm like, when I'm looking at my color choices, Upper Canada just stuck out. It probably makes sense to switch over to a bigger brush since this is a big old mushroom top, but I don't know about you. I spend a lot of time cleaning and caring for my brushes, so I'm just going to use this one. So now on my mushroom top, I'm going to take some more of that Picket Fence and I'm going to freehand some dots. Are they going to be perfect? No. Will they be perfectly imperfect? Probably. Could I have made a stencil and made them all the same size and all perfect? Yeah, I could have done that too. But, you know, it's supposed to be organic. It's a mushroom. God didn't make them completely perfect. They weren't all the same size. They weren't all the same perfectly circled. So I'm just going to freehand it, and whatever I feel is good enough, that's what it'll be. Did have to go over my white a couple times to make sure that they were white, but now I'm going to seal the entire piece in with some more of that weather defense. Okay, other than the brokenness, what is the first thing you see on this cute little potting table? Is that yummy galvanized, even with the rusty, crusty. When my friend Marcy was having one of her Marcy's mess sales, which she is a true junker. Oh, I always love to see what she pops on Facebook Marketplace for me to be able to buy. Well, yeah, and they usually are project pieces. So lucky that I can tag Chris in and he's going to work on it. So this was used as a potting table. So not necessarily was it made with treated lumber, which is probably really what you should be using. Probably not using that, using whatever we have in our stash for right now. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just use what you have. So Chris is going to go ahead and make this secure, changing out some wood, getting new pieces. As you see, that one cross beam is broken, and then somebody just reinforced it with these little brackets. Using a 2x4, he's just going to go ahead and take the pieces that he took off, and he's going to set his table saw to that measurements so he can get the right thickness that he needs for the replacement. So all he did was just cut a strip off of the 2x4 first, and now he has the piece off of the table, and then he'll just move his blade in so that it is the exact same size. He's actually going to reinforce the bottom. As you see, if you're using that as a potting table, that could be a lot of weight on these little legs. So reinforcing it with some extra wood pieces just will make it strong and more stable. It's already so much better, but there again, he's going to put some braces on it just to give it some extra stability so that the legs don't get bowed out, loosening up the screws or any of the nails that he put in there. Unfortunately, when I bought it off Marketplace, I purchased it. She does you say that you want this right now and it's yours. So it's not that I went and saw it by any means. She doesn't live in the same town I do. So I knew that the bottom needed to be fixed, but unfortunately, I might love a rusty, crusty galvanized. That piece of plywood underneath, you can see it is warped. The layers are coming apart. It is weak. It needs to be replaced. Shoot, I did not know that about that piece, but we need to replace it. It is not structurally strong. I have to start off from the bottom. The screws hold the edging around the top in, so that needs to come off, and then he needs to very gingerly, without hopefully ruining the galvanized rusty crustiness, the character too much, he's going to work on taking the piece of metal off. there's that. So he just cut a new board piece. This board's probably a little bit stronger than what was there, but trying to find something that had the same thickness, perfect fit. At least we'll have a nice, strong under piece of wood for a few more years. He needs to mark his areas, knowing where those cross beams underneath are, so he can drill some screws in there to keep it in place and be nice and sturdy. Now, when it came to this rusty crusty galvanized, he couldn't just use brad nails because the brad nails were going right through it. Brad nails don't usually have like a big head on them, so they just go right through. So yes, one by one, he's finding some little nails that have little heads, and he's very gingerly finding the original holes and tacking them back in to keep it on there. So not only is this three-sided piece decorative, but it also is useful for, keeping items on the table itself. So he's just got to flip it back over and screw that back in place. Okay, so 50-50, he made a whole new table, but it's nice and secure now, and it was well worth it. Times when you think you're just going to repaint it to green, this little teapot stuck out this very bright, vivid blue color. Oh, be still my heart. I'm like, it is going on spring into summer. Why not do, it's a bright color, but not like a neon color. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at. So with Fusion, it's paint, primer, and top coat all in one. So there was no need to do anything extra to this wood, but I definitely wanted to make sure I was painting the bottom of this to get it sealed in. So would it have been easier for Chris not to have put the galvanized back on so I could paint this? Neither of the two of us thought about that until I was painting the piece. That's how that works. He's just working along, reconstructing it, putting it back together, and then I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I love painting. I find it very relaxing. So if I have to take my time, I just have to take my time. The straight lines weren't so bad, but the rusty crusty galvanized doesn't completely cover all the areas. So I just had to go in with a small little paintbrush, very gingerly. I could bend up very gingerly, very carefully, the rusty crusty part of it to try to get underneath. If I got a little paint on, I'm not going to stress myself out about it because rust is very porous and it likes to soak it right in. But at least it has that fresh paint. Yes, it would have been easier to do it before, but it is what it is, and I'm just working with what I was given. It's all good. Off camera, Chris cut some pallet wood, so you're going to be able to use this bottom as a shelf. That only makes sense. You can stick some extra pots down there, you know, a bucket of potting soil, what have you, whatever you need. So keeping with like the aged metal that's on the top, pallet wood has that aged look to tie it all together. I didn't get it on camera. I did seal in the galvanized with some of the weather defense, just giving it a couple coats to protect that rust from rusting anymore. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Have I inspired you not to throw those items away, to actually give a new paint job, a little bit of Bondo if they're broken, or spray foam works too. So it's always so much fun for me to share, not just throwing something away, not just sending it to the landfill. I mean, we loved them when we bought them. Why not just give them a little, and you can even change the color. They don't necessarily have to be the same color whatsoever. Who does not love that little frog, the little mushroom? Yeah, I could have painted it red, but sometimes it's fun to step outside our comfort zone and do something a little bit different. And just revamping that potting table. Yeah, you could probably have bought a new one or made a new one, but that galvanized, that aged, rusty, crusty galvanized, I would buy that in a heartbeat if I found it out and about. So let me know down in the comments which are the items I have made over today, along with my husband Chris, because I needed his help on that table. Cutting is not my cup of tea. I'm glad that I have a team member here that will share projects with me and help me out when it comes to items like that. So let me know down in the comments, do you have some of these sun-faded, broken, maybe a little bit worse for wear items, and you're like, I think I should throw these out, or are you going to save them? So again, thanks for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thanks you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw, please smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.